Hello everyone and welcome back to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations, where Ron is now going to explain to the judge why he hid Mr. Bullard's body. This should go just swimmingly, because it always does. Question: when does someone toss their dirty shorts in the washing machine? When they're dirty. Oh, what? The answer is simple. When they take them off. As usual, I have no idea what you were saying. Do you mean that Mr. Delight hid the body because he's the murderer? Ha! So you're not as stupid as you look. His metaphor this time was really obscure. Mr. Wright, you don't mean that you knew about this whole safe business, do you? Well, yeah. Why am I the only one out of the loop here? Witness, make sure you add this to your testimony. Yes, sir. Oh, looks like a storm front is moving in over the fair weather judge. I panicked and hid the body in the safe. It took me about 10 minutes. Let's present. Why did you hide the body in the safe anyway? Well, because it wouldn't fit in the drawer. That's not exactly what I meant. And when I saw the corpse, I kinda lost it. I thought, if they find his corpse, they'll think I did it. Ha! I think you had a simpler reason than that. It's because you killed him. That's why you spent 10 minutes hiding the body. That certainly makes more sense. Ugh. Hold on. 10 minutes? What is it, Nick? I just had a thought. Under those circumstances, would you normally try to hide the body? And spend 10 whole minutes to do it? Under those circumstances? What circumstances? Oh! Hey Nick, if you think his behavior was so strange, why don't you present some evidence that would show just what those circumstances were? That's it. I'll take a look at the court record and present some evidence, okay? We heard this from Mr. Delight yesterday, didn't we? There's not much in this testimony either. I bet she's still hiding something. I wouldn't be surprised. We'll just have to draw it out of him. I just hope he doesn't make things any more complicated. Okay, let's go to the court record. What do we got? Security camera. No, that's back at the mall or whatever. Just department store. Blackmail letter. Ron's wallet. Key card. Publicity photo. Brooch. Cerebral hemorrhaging from blunt trauma to the head. Next to the basement security. Wait. The buzzer went off once at 1:02. Aha! Well, wait. I think it's either the buzzer or the buzzer record. No, wait. Yeah, no, because we pressed the buzzer. And it made obnoxious noise like all throughout the area. Suddenly I was hit on the forehead, and after that I remember being a bit dazed. I hadn't been wearing my mask-to-mask costume. When I came to, Mr. Bullard was lying there dead. I panicked and hid the body in the safe. It took about 10 minutes. Alright, I think this is it. Your Honor, could you please take a look at this record? And what might this be? Oh, could I have presented the record? The record for the emergency buzzer that connects the CEO's office to security. If the button in the office is pressed, a security team is supposed to come running. And according to this record, the buzzer was pushed once at 1:02 a.m. What? If Mr. Ron Delight truly was the murderer, He would have ran as soon as that buzzer sounded. After all, a security guard would have been heading his way. Let's remember who we're dealing with here. He probably had no idea there was a security personnel in the building. No, he worked there. Up until 1 year ago, my client was working as the chief of security. There's no way he wouldn't have known about them. But as it turns out, the guard never came. That was nothing more than a coincidence. The fact that the guard was a pathetic loser who had just gotten punched in the face by his ex's new boyfriend and wasn't anywhere in the vicinity was not something Mr. Delight could have known. Oh, is his Cyclops mask like short-circuiting? Are we in danger? Again, remember who we're dealing with here. It's a sure bet that Mr. Delight didn't even notice the buzzer going off. No, there's no way. This buzzer is extremely loud. There's no way he could have ignored something like that. If he had been conscious, that is. Conscious? What do you mean by that? Am I gonna get slapped in the face with coffee? Fine, let's hear your theory. What is? Recall the defendant's testimony. The moment he entered the victim's office, someone attacked him. Mr. Delight said he felt dazed. I'm willing to wager that he was knocked unconscious for at least a few minutes. Unconscious? So he fainted? That's why Mr. Delight didn't know that the buzzer had sounded. And that's why he thought he had time to hide the body. So what are you trying to say? Mr. Delight was knocked out and the buzzer went off soon afterwards. Now, unless my client was able to hit the buzzer while he was unconscious, it can only mean that there was another person in that room. That's right, whoever it was, they knocked out Ron Delight and then pressed the buzzer. Order in the court, Mr. Wright. This is preposterous. It was this kid. Ron Delight is the one who killed Kane Bullard. You can tell with the music, we're gonna get him. Temporarily. Then who pressed the buzzer? It was, the victim, of course. He pressed the buzzer when the defendant attacked him. He didn't die right away. He must have held on long enough to push that button. So Kane Bullard sounded the buzzer himself. What is your opinion on this, Mr. Wright? I need to prove that the real criminal was there at the scene, but how? Can I prove it wasn't Kane Bullard who sounded the buzzer? Ooh. What was there's something about the buzzer. I think it said there were no fingerprints. And Gumshoe told us that he wasn't wearing gloves. You know, let's show here. Wasn't he wearing gloves? I don't know if that was like just for show or just aesthetic. Yeah, I think I can prove it. The defense's opinion is this, Your Honor. This piece of evidence proves that it wasn't the victim who sounded the buzzer. The buzzer itself. I believe this is the piece of incontrovertible evidence you were looking for. The emergency buzzer. Is there some kind of clue on it? No, and that's the point. Absolutely not. Hey, come on now. At least give some thought to what you say before opening your mouth. The fact that there are absolutely no clues is itself the clue. Now I'm the one who's clueless. Judge, no one is surprised by that. This button has no fingerprints on it. If Mr. Bullard had really pressed it himself, naturally, he would have left his fingerprints behind. I don't know what that was. Ron Delight obviously wiped them off. Why would he? A guard could have come at any moment. He touched that button. I know he did. The defendant, Mr. Delight, was dressed as Mask the Mask. And Mask the Mask always wears gloves. What reason could he possibly have had to wipe the button free of fingerprints? Order, order, order! Yeah, it would seem. I've been forced to eat crow. I wonder what blend number crow-flavored coffee is. However, if the real killer was there at the scene, why would that person press the emergency buzzer? Oh, that's easy. Shouldn't they have run away without putting themselves in extra danger? No, that's easy. Ew, what's with this awkward silence all of a sudden? Ha! It looks like you're fresh out of parlor tricks. They're on to you, Nick. Just give me a minute to collect my thoughts. Phoenix, no, we know this. The real culprit killed Mr. Bullard at around 1 a.m. And Mr. Delight just happened to waltz in when the murder was taking place. Oh, and Mr. Delight just happened to waltz in when the murder was taking place, right? The killer clobbered Mr. Delight and then sounded the buzzer. Even though security was supposed to respond right away if the buzzer was pressed. Security was supposed to respond. Time's up, Mr. Wright. Let's hear what you have to say. Very well, then. No, you got some guts. I like that in an opponent. Why did the real killer sound the emergency buzzer? They didn't mean to call the security guard to find out what it did. Alright, that one's a little... The killer knew that if they pressed that button, a guard would come running. And that was exactly what they wanted. Do you mean to say the killer called the guard on purpose? Yes, although as it turned out, he never showed up. Because he was getting his clock cleaned at the time. Ah, what a touching story. You're saying the killer had a change of heart and called the guard to turn himself in? No. No, I'm not. When that buzzer sounded, there were 3 people in that office. The victim, Kane Bullard, who was already dead. The defendant, Rhonda Light, who was out cold. And the third person, the real killer. Hypothetically, yes. Now then, in this situation, if the real killer made an escape, what would happen? The only ones left in the room would be the victim and Rhonda Light. And if any security guards came running in at that time, they would think that I was the murderer. Yes, that was precisely the real killer's objective. To frame Rhonda Light for the murder. Think we got him. Whew. Order, order, order! Ah, it would seem. I've been made to eat my words once again. Yeah, you're not very good. Actually, been made to do a spit take with a cup of coffee. Mr. Wright, who was it? Who was it that tried to frame me? Wait a second. I'm the one and only Master Mask, so... Nick, you mean the real killer is... We're going to drag that person in here right now. But who is it? I don't have any solid proof yet, but think about it. The killer knew Mr. Delight's identity, and they also knew that he had been called to KB security that night. So the killer used him to execute a well-crafted plan to murder Kane Bullard. I'm confused as to the why. Now then, let's hear your accusation, Mr. Wright. Who was it that framed Rhonda Light for the murder of Kane Bullard? I mean, there's really only... Just make sure I'm not overlooking anything. Yeah, I don't see anyone else standing up. Look at me. Detective Luke at me. He's the only one who could have done it. Ace, Detective. Luke at me. You mean Master Mask did it? Your Honor, the person being tried in the court next to us is not Master Mask at all. He is, in actuality, the true murderer of Kane Bullard. And that's why he was willing to pretend to be Master Mask. Then who was Master Mask at 1 a.m.? I need to look at the court record. I feel like there are timing things that I have forgotten. Order, order, Mr. Wright, explain yourself. Theft and murder. Which is the more serious crime? They're not even close. Murder is the more serious crime, of course. It's a capital crime subject to a capital punishment. Please remember the trial from yesterday, if you would. When Luke at me confessed, there was a huge commotion in the courtroom. Of course, a famous detective was unmasked as masked a mask. Instead of being convicted of murder, he was found guilty of grand larceny. That was his true objective all along. To be found guilty. Master Mask had the perfect alibi for when the murder took place. Yeah, what a... The arrest camera went off once at around 1 a.m. There's just someone in a mask, so who... I think we need to figure out who that was. That's the part I haven't figured out yet. And if the camera... If that really was the photo that was taken at 1 o'clock. He was stealing the urn at Lordly Taylor. In other words, being found guilty as Mask to Mask was Luke Atmey's airtight, watertight, and unassailable alibi. Guilty verdict as an alibi? You know, it's almost time. For what? For Luke Atmey's verdict. It was a pretty simple trial after all. If we're going to stop this trial and stall that one, we need to do it now. Of course. That's assuming you have proof that the detective was the one who committed the murder. Mr. Luke Atmey's trial has indeed attracted the attention of the entire country. If we were to intrude and fail to provide adequate proof of his true crime, Mr. Delight would be left with no grounds for appeal. Oh boy, am I really sure about this? Ha! A bet's only good when you're last the ante. Mr. Wright, I believe in you. Mr. Delight. So please, I'm begging you. Oh, thanks. But my decision will determine the rest of your life. Can I really risk your life like this? Phoenix. What was that? Don't stray, Phoenix. For your client, take the path of trust. That voice. It sounds like... Mia. Your Honor, the defense requests an immediate recess. Ah, so that's your answer, huh? Very well, I've decided as well. This court will now take a 20-minute recess. Mr. Wright, when we return, please summon Mr. Luke Atmey to the stand. Yes, Your Honor. Oh boy. Well, Sir Detective Atmey. Wait, what? I have to say, Mr. Payne, you performed splendidly. I don't know, Sir Detective Atmey. You were the one who... What? The judge! What is happening here? That's enough. This court sees no reason to further prolong this trial. This court finds the defendant Luke Atmey. Wait. Don't hand down your verdict yet, please. Oh, this is a different... Oh! I see what's going on. Okay. I thought this was like a flashback to the past. Okay. Well, well, Sir Lawyer, welcome to my courtroom. Who's this hoser, eh? My name is Phoenix Wright, attorney at law, and I wish to file an accusation against this man, Luke Atme. Accusation? You accuse Mask the Mask? That man is not Mask the Mask. He's just a ruthless murderer. What? Ooh, he's sweating. That means we got him. He knows what's up. All right, we'll save and see. We're starting the trial. I might just end the episode. All right, yeah, we'll go through this. I know we're a little short so far. My sis, I could have sworn I heard Mia's voice. So then she's still alive inside your heart. Nicky boy. Oh, missed the light. Is it true that Detective is the real killer? To be honest, I don't have any definitive proof. He's the only one who could have done it. But wasn't he at Lordly Taylor that night? Not to mention, we don't exactly know his motive. I mean, why would Detective Atme want to kill Kane Bullard? Oops, it's almost time. Better get back to the courtroom. I need to find some solid proof. And it's gotta happen sooner rather than later. Does this mean we're gonna get another day? Oh, that didn't go on very long. Alright. Let's pick this up in the next episode so we're not stopping in the middle of something important. Oh. I have so many thoughts about this trial. I'm really digging it. I'm impressed so far. I'm really enjoying this case. So hope you guys are too. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.